a candidate that is not here tonight, and the other candidates have allowed us to have, Janice is gonna do a little
Opening.
Come on.
read from, so you have to come over here.
Just say it.
Just say.
Do it.
They've allowed this.
Under duress.
Under duress, yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Clock's running, man.
Yes, sir. My name is Janice, and I am working for John Worley. John Worley regrets not being here tonight, but he had a previous engagement. John was raised in Nye County on the back of a horse. He has a strong understanding of public safety and supports the well owners of Nye County. He is looking to create an environment that invites growth and development in our county, but keeping it rural, a rural way of life. His goal is to work with others, county commissioners, to make sound decisions. He will oversee and analyze budgets for all departments. He was a U.S. Navy corpsman, Marine Corps, Air Ground Corps. It's a whole mouthful, sorry. He will be a new voice, one that is balanced, fair, and firm. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, I knew you planned that ski trip right before this. All right, so we are going to do a 2-minute opener for each candidate. We are going to start with anybody but Eddie. We're going to start with Louis Baker. So we're going to pass the microphones. You guys have to speak very loudly, okay, into the microphone. And we're going to start with Louis Baker, please.
All right, King.
All right, you ready?
Oh. Check, check.
Uh-oh.
Test 1, 2.
While they're doing that, I just want to let everybody know the questions that are on these orange pieces of paper are from the audience. Just
Test 1, 2. Oh, sorry. This actually, no. You good with that, sir?
Lou, it's Lou Baker, and I'm running for County Commissioner in District 3, and I'm different from all the rest of these other people. How am I different? Anybody want to tell me how I'm different?
Independent American Party.
There you go. I'm with the Independent American Party, and we are nonpartisan. So that's what makes us different, is that we have 7 Republicans running against me. But it's only going to come down to 1. So what are my chances? I'm saying they're 60-40. And why is that? Because of the things that I have done in the past. I marched 5,000 people down the Las Vegas Strip. I raised 10,000 votes for Ross Perot. I raised $120 for the shelter for the homeless, $120,000 for the shelter for the homeless in Westminster, California. And it goes on and on. But the bottom line is this. If you want change, you have to make change. If you don't want to make change, forget it. But we're in trouble in this country. One of the things that I'm proposing is a high-speed transportation system from Las Vegas to Pahrump, to Amagosa, and the test site. Cheap, inexpensive, and it's out there and it's available to us if we can only come together on the terms. The commissioners have done a good job, you know, in getting some of these things started. But we have to move forward. We can't be taking a back seat while we need our roads taken care of. We also need to take care of nature and the environment. And what I'm proposing is the Iron Horse Stampede, which is about motorcycles. Yeah, I'm a biker. Okay, the bottom line is this. It's not what you think, it's what you do. And if you don't do anything, forget it. We have to make changes. Now, you can say, well, you're an independent or nonpartisan. Yes, I am. Does that mean I don't vote for Republicans? Yes, I do. Because I don't pick party, I pick the person, the one with the qualifications, the one that's best suited for the job. And that's a little bit about it. Anybody have any questions about me?
We don't take questions from the audience live to you. We take questions from the audience for the
Oh,
cards.
okay, all right. Well, the bottom line, folks, is that there's many things in the working, there's many things that we can do, but it's going to take a little effort to get it done. We have funding for the high-speed transportation system that I'm proposing. And we're going to get more. And how would you like to be able to travel from Las Vegas to Pahrump in 10 minutes?
That's your
Would
time.
anybody be up to that? Now, we have a couple of
That's your
people
time?
here.
That's your time. That was your opening statement. That's your time.
We need to pass the
Oh, okay. All right, I guess that's it.
That's your 2-minute opener. Thank you.
All of the candidates, we've had a request from the back of the room, if when you're answering the question, if you will stand up so they can see you.
Okay. Is that okay with you? If you can't stand, or if there's a reason why you can't stand, especially Eddie, because I know, you know. So,
Carrying all that weight.
You can set him up on the fireplace.
we can do that. Then, you know, they'll be okay. But also on the streaming, I'm seeing that the people on the corners are getting a little bit cut off. So just so you know, if you can scoot in just a hair to accommodate Louie and Eddie, that would be great. And if anybody can stand for the people in the back, that'd be great. All right, and then we're gonna go to our next candidate.
Are you supposed to stand or just?
If you would like to stand, they would like you to,
Oh, they don't.
but you don't have to.
No,
They can't see you.
I know, I thought you meant for answering questions, I'm sorry. My name's Ian Bain, I'm 2022, I ran for clerk. I got 40% of the vote in the Republican primary, so thank you to those of you who did vote for me then. I am a real estate appraiser. I've been a real estate appraiser for a little over 20 years. I was in the Army Reserve for 6 years, was a combat engineer, was in the drill sergeant unit, which was a lot of fun. I'm running, I came to Pahrump probably for the same reason many of you came to Pahrump, if you weren't from here originally. I like the Western culture. I like the traditional values. And when I look at the government, I've paid more attention in the last couple of years after my clerk election and paid more attention. You'll see my flyers on the tables and you can see more detail about it. But I think there's a corruption problem, and that's not traditional values. And I look at Western culture and I expect that here in Pahrump, and instead I see homeless shelters and I see homeless camps, and it looks a lot like Los Angeles or Chicago or New York. I see civic centers being built. So for me, I look around at my government and I expect traditional values, and I expect Western culture. That's what brought me here. That's why I think a lot of us are here, and I don't see it coming from our government. So that's what I hope to do. And again, if you look at my flyer, you'll see a lot more about me, and my website is on there as well. So thank you, I'm Ian Bain.
I'm going to go ahead and stand even though I got 2 cobalt steel knees. But my name is Gerald Schulte. I'm running for County Commissioner District 3. And I think I'm the only man for the job. Reason being, I've been out here over 30 years. I've been coming here since 1976. I have my hands and footprint in over 1,500 homes since 1976, since I came out here from setting the homes to now as a dealership, a successful dealership. Even during the downturn of the housing market, I've been here, the dealership since 2007, but I've been installing homes here ever since. But the reason I think I'm probably the best person for this job is I know Nye County. I've been down every road in Pahrump. Maybe not every road, but at least 95% of them. I've been down every road in Nye County. Every part of Nye County, all the way up to Mineral County, to Churchill County, White Pine County, Inyo County, on California side, Clark County. I've been down every road here. I know Nye County. I've been up before the county commissioner several times on different issues. I haven't been successful at it, but my view is a little different. I represent lower income people that are in manufactured homes that some personnel in Nye County consider us as deplorables, more or less. They don't want manufactured homes here. They fight like hell to keep the tiny homes out, but they're coming. Guest quarters, cabanas, mother-in-law quarters, they don't want them. I represent all that. There's a big need for it. I'm not about all this high-density housing that they're trying to impose. Where are we getting the water from it? I am one of the many few that actually sued in the Superior Court. We didn't win when they took our water rights away. So I fight for a lot of stuff in this county, and well, lose my train of thought here. The things I fight for, basically, like I said, are for the lower income people. The elderly that's on a fixed income that can only afford manufactured housing. Manufactured housing is not the only thing I want to be on the board about, but my business sense basically allows me to listen to the people, understand and decipher, and make a better decision than some of our county commissioners now. I will not bond with any one commissioner just to be on the buddy-buddy, good buddy situation here. Am I done? Okay, thank you.
Pay attention to the flag.
This one actually.
Does this one work?
Hi. Tammy Pittman. I am the only female up here, interestingly enough. I felt compelled. I feel like I could bring a different sense, and I've talked to lots and lots of people since October when I felt compelled to put my hat in the ring. And what I hear is people are getting the information or not getting enough information, or they feel like they're not getting any information from the commissioners. And I think that keeping the line of communication open is huge. That would be something that I would strive for. Second of all, I think I have a very big business background. I have a business degree in organizational development. Yeah, occupational, organizational development. And that would be very helpful. I think I could make a big help as a consultant to work with Tim when they have issues at the county, because they have an outside view on HR. I have also got a finance background, and I have an HR background, and I spent 10 years in the Marine Corps. So all of those things together give me a unique perspective, and I've worked a lot with my church here locally. I've got a big investment in our food pantry. I've been working with the Nye County Republican Women, and I just keep my fingers on the pulse of everything, and I am excited and feel like I can really bring another viewpoint. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Heath Campbell. I've been around for a little bit. Not as long as Jerry, but I got here in '81, grew up here with my parents, and with the Navy 9 years. Came back and raised my boys here. And now they're out in the wilderness doing their thing. So I've got a lot of perspective, I guess you could say, it's been a while, or as small as it was, the small town of Pahrump when I first got here. There's been quite a bit of growth, and I'd like to see more growth, but in a smart way. So we have to kind of tackle the problems. I don't know if everybody up here has all the ideas and all the solutions, but I don't. But I know there's plenty of people out there that work for the county that we could get together and figure out a lot of more solutions. That there's issues that we all have, whether it's the homeless shelters or the homeless or affordable housing, all that kind of stuff what Jerry was talking about with manufactured homes. We need to have the growth, but we need to do it smartly. So I'm your guy running on common sense. I don't know if that works anymore, but that's what I would do. So thank you for your time.
Hello there.
You're off camera.
You're not. I was trying to get around it. I'm so sorry. Hi there. My name is Edward O'Brien. I've actually been a resident of Pahrump, Nevada, and the county. Huh?
You have to get the mic here.
Can you hear me now? Very cool. Sorry about that. Thank you. By the way, I'm going to start out with saying thank you to everybody for coming tonight, taking the time out of your evening to come see and watch the candidates and well, hearing their voice in this upcoming election. Like I said, I've been out here for 31 years. My family, or my dad brought us out here. My family, back in '86. I was born in '92. Well, except for, I guess you could say, the 2 weeks that I was in Vegas and I came out here. But basically, I graduated out here in 2011. And, well, the reason...
Sorry about that.
There's numerous reasons why I'm running for commissioner. I've been out here a long time. I've seen a lot of stuff happen. I've seen a lot of stuff not happen. And I think the biggest thing for me is accountability. That could be a broad spectrum of a lot of the situations that are happening out here, but I currently work at Intermountain Healthcare as a medical assistant. And it's something that I'm seeing, let's say the healthcare industry, as far as the access to the medical on that side, getting into the doctors. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that area. Another thing would be the roads out here. Those are just certain scenarios. But as far as that goes, I mean, I was raised on a farm well, I still live on a farm, I guess you say so. It's the farm life is well, born and bred, so it's been an interesting ride so far. But I'm just going to keep it short and sweet, and I'm going to let everybody else look into the debate. So thank you for your time. And also I want to say thank you to Pahrump News and Night County Traffic Scanner. Thank you to Subway for providing the food for us as well. And also to the armed services, emergency services, you name it. Thank you guys for your service.
All right. Okay, so we're going to begin questioning now. I think we lost our timekeeper because he's doing the chicken dance or something.
It was short on time.
All right. Okay, so we're going to begin. So what we do is we will start off at one side, we will go around, and then we will keep going around with the candidates for the questions. It'll rotate. You'll get the hang of that. I believe we're going to have a issue. Alicia, can you be our timekeeper? All right. All right. So I believe that you got the rules. It is a 2-minute answer to the question, 1 minute for rebuttal, and 30 seconds if you have a further rebuttal. If we're having a debate back and forth between a couple candidates. So we're going to start with our first question, unless you have something that you're...
Well, this is an important question.
All right. Are you going for that one right now?
Yeah.
You're going to hit hard right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, let's start within.
We're starting with Louis.
Well, I thought we started with Louis for the introduction.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll go with you. There we go. I believe he's got some kind of...
What, if anything, will you do to protect our water rights?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that you have to start with the government, and if you trust this government, you trust that what's coming out of it is accurate, then you probably would be able to formulate an answer. I don't trust the things that I see from this government because I see so much corruption, because I see so much confusion, and because people don't seem to understand much about anything, and there's a lot of confusion and arguing going on. So for me, the first step when you take over a business or you go into a government service is to figure out what kind of information you have. Unfortunately, and this is true in the whole country, just because you get elected doesn't mean you're going to get accurate information, so you have to dig for that. So a lot of times new people come in, you see this in administrations like the White House come in and they have to bring their own people in. This is because people in government have a really great way of hiding information, hiding numbers, manipulating it. I see a lot of weaponized water discussions that conflict and contradict here in just the short time, years I've been here. And so for me, it would be a lot of gathering information first and figuring out what's reliable and what's not. Being a real estate appraiser, having a law degree, for me, and being in politics for 26 years, as I've been looking at this stuff for a very long time, I like to think I can do research pretty well, so that's what I would bring to the table. But really, the first step is not to jump to any conclusions. I don't trust the things that have been said, because I fear that there's bad information, misinformation, manipulation in order to sort of make political points in different weaponized groups of people back and forth here in this county. So you start with information first, and then you form the decision.
We're going to go to Gerald Schulte.
Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. What, if anything, will you do to protect our water rights?
I don't think there's anything anybody can do to protect water rights. If you got them right now, use them. Get a well there before they want to come and put a meter on it, because that's what they're going to want to do next. They say we're over allocated already, but I don't think we are. I mean, water goes down, we can go 1,000 foot down and still get water. 20 years ago, we got it at 80 feet. We got good quality water at 80 feet. Now we're going down 200 feet to get good quality water. We can get better quality at 300 feet and hell of a good quality at 400 feet. The water exists down there. We're not over allocated, but if the county commissioners keep voting in high density housing that's taking up a lot of our water, how's our acre, half acre, acre and a quarter is ever going to be able to put a well on? The water rights eventually have to run out, so we're going to have vacant land all over that don't have water allocated to it yet. But right now, anybody that has the water rights allocated to their property, use it, get it done, get a well sunk, because they're going to take them away also. And but the water's there. We're not over allocated. We got plenty of water. We just need to stop this high density housing that's going to burn up the water quicker than these low density housing like acre and a quarters. To give you an instance, subdivision of 400 homes that they just approved. They approved it 15 years ago. They just got done reapproving it again, but they approved it 15 years ago because we had water. Why they approved it again, I have no idea. They didn't have to. Were they afraid of getting sued? We don't have the water to reapprove it anymore.
You have 15 seconds, sir.
If I was on the commissioner, I would have been one vote. I wouldn't care how everybody else is voting. I'm not going to vote with the other commissioners. I'm my own thoughts. I look into things. Thank you.
Is it on?
Yes,
Do you need me to repeat the question?
go for it.
What, if anything, will you do to protect water rights?
Well, actually, I've already been working on this because I see water as our most precious resource. If we don't manage our water properly, our homes will be worthless. So I've actually met with Dan Weeks a couple of times and with Helene Williams, excuse me. And there is new science where they're actually able to see what we have and what the recharge rates are, and they're working on finding out what the balance would be and where we can get the absolute maximum number of people here in the valley without going into the negative. The last number I heard was around 80,000 people. I don't know how accurate that is. So as a commissioner, I would then make sure that we keep our growth to 80,000 or less, because otherwise we're going to be having to truck water in and we'll all have cisterns, and that's not acceptable.
I think I would do everything that we can to protect our water rights. There's been talk years and years, Clark County, California, everybody's trying to get our water. It just makes sense to do what we can. The lower the density, we need to have the growth, but we need to do it smartly. If they're too small, the acres that people are approving, via commissioners approved or reapproved, whatever. If we can go bigger and not have 5,000 or 7,000 square foot home lots, and we can go bigger than that, and it makes sense, and it's enough to where it's gonna accommodate, then we're not gonna run out of water. We gotta just do it smart. And getting more information is a smart idea. It just makes sense to go at it, get the right information, not misinformation, and make a good decision. So it just makes sense.
This question actually hits home for me because obviously I live on a farm, so I have to, well, my family, my dad has to fight for our water rights currently to this day since the day I've been born. So I will tell you one thing that we do need to do is Nye County needs to do some kind of water study to determine the resource that, or water as a resource that we have for the future. That's number one. And you'll for sure protecting the water rights. We have two wells currently on our property that are metered, obviously for agricultural purposes. And I mean, you got to protect the future for sure. And most definitely, I'm gonna be that person to protect the water rights. I mean, you got can't remember who the family was, but you have truckloads of water that are being towed currently to, I think they're still being towed currently, to a solar field just south of us. We gotta protect that, okay? Ain't gonna fly with me. So, I just wanna let you know that I will fight for water rights for sure. And like I said, we gotta figure out what we have for the future and proceed from that way forward. And work with, I mean, we're working with Gregory Hafen on a lot of different stuff as far as the laws, proceeding forward with that as well. I know my dad's, he's been in contact with Pico Gachia, obviously, and for the future, running forward with that. So most definitely, yes, I will protect your water rights.
All right, does anybody have any rebuttal? Anybody? Oh, wait, oh, I'm sorry, we still have Louis.
Okay, as I understand it, the question is the water reserves and how we're going to deal with that, okay? As we keep proliferating, okay, our need for water increases, and we have to do something about that. The biggest and best way we're going to do it is with our waste. And there's so much waste. If you really stop to think about how much water we're wasting going down the toilet and not doing anything with it. Now, the other question is, how do we save that? And I'd like to divert just for 1 second about the horses, about the wildlife, okay? The wildlife itself.
The question is about how would you protect our water rights?
Well, as I said, reclamation, processing the water and doing a good job about it, because we're wasting too much water going down the drain when there's practical purposes for irrigation, for the farms and everything else. So all we have to do is conserve as best we can, because the truth of the matter is we've got a serious problem with the water. And I believe that I present solutions to a lot of the questions that have been asked, and I hope I have the opportunity. I didn't come here tonight knowing that I was going to be speaking, so I didn't bring my plank, but that's the best I can do.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any rebuttal, and would anybody like to comment on the relinquishing of their water rights as a part of that question?
I do have one addition. They talked about the water that's being trucked out to the solar site, and our commissioners said no, but unfortunately it got approved above and beyond us, so what we say doesn't always fly. And that's a big problem, because it's still being trucked.
Any other rebuttals?
I just want to point out that there's just a handful of people that own the water rights here in town. And they've been paying anything for them. They've earned a lot of money off of them by growing things in Nye County for years. And now that we're not growing anything anymore, they own the water rights, but what are they doing with them? They're getting rich. They're getting filthy rich, and the people that bought land here from preferred equities 30, 40 years ago thought they were this was gonna be their retirement home, thought they were gonna have plenty of water. And their dreams don't exist no more. Thank you.
Before you speak each time, the audience would like you to say your name. Okay.
Gerald Schulte.
Is there any other rebuttal to that question? Anyway, okay. All right, we'll go on to the next question. How important is it for a commissioner to understand money and learn to work with other departments to balance the budget, and why? Explain. We're going to go to Gerald Schulte.
Well, as a very successful businessman over the last 40 years, I was very successful when everybody was closing down their dealerships. I don't know how many of you remember, Highway 160 had an average of 8 to 10 mobile home dealerships ever since 85, 90, and they existed here for the next 20 years. But when the housing downturn happened in 2007, all of them closed up, except me. I made it through the tough times. I lost money to stay in business, but I regained it back when things turned around. So I understand business. I understand budgeting to survive. And that's what Nye County has to do. We have to look at the money we have, and we have to allocate it to certain departments. And a lot of people think, oh, well, why don't we fix these roads? There's only so much money in the road fund, and it can't come from anywhere else. And we can only do so much with that road fund. We can only get so many roads fixed. And we sure in the heck don't want to have taxes raised anymore to do that. Nobody likes taxes. But business sense goes a long way in being a county commissioners. And I have to look at the big picture when I have to make a decision. And the big picture is not easy to look at. It's not easy to make them kind of decisions when people don't fully understand all that money. They see $200 million as a general fund for the whole year. $200 million don't go very far in a county this size. So we have to cut corners in, come on, Steve.
You have 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as a county commissioner, I'm gonna cut a lot of corners. Try and save money this year so we can do something better the next year. If we don't have to have it right now, we're not going to pay for it. We're not going to wait for it. Again, Gerald Schulte, thank you.
Tammy Pittman. Budgets are important. We have a finite amount of money, and we just borrowed, loaned ourselves $5.82 million or some crazy amount of money. And it said that it was because it was a shortfall because of COVID. But I've also heard recently from a very good source that there was no shortfall during COVID. So where did that money go? I can read spreadsheets. I can build spreadsheets. I am going to work with the treasurer and the finance committee. One of the things that's really good is to have proposed budget. We know what's coming in. The state tells us exactly what we have to spend, so you can spend to that without going over it. Another thing that I think is important is having each department have a bonus, so that if their manager actually stays within budget, they could earn a bonus. Wouldn't that make them actually think twice? Putting money in a contingency fund for the rainy day. Have we ever had your house, you have a budget and your house has a tree fall on the roof and you have to fix it? Well, you cut back. You eat mac and cheese for a while. You don't go out for pizza to get the roof paid off. You don't just keep spending money. So we have to use our money wisely. So that is what I would do. Thank you.
Heath Campbell. Can you repeat the question, please? You can't put it away yet.
I didn't.
We get 2 more, 3, 4.
How important is it for a commissioner to understand money and to learn to work with other departments to balance the budget, and why? Explain.
Well, communication is the key. I'm a former business owner, did pretty good. But transparency with the departments and the commissioners, having everybody who's important and has that fiscal duty to be in the same room and figure out the solutions. I kind of agree with Tammy if you have to kind of tighten the belt, so to speak, and wait on certain things. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Nobody likes to do it, but it's what we have to do. So that's just transparency and communication with the people that know all the ins and outs. I can read a budget, but having people explain it and be transparent makes all the difference. We got to know where the money's being spent. If we don't know, then everybody asks, and then the scuttlebutt goes around and everybody has their theories. But misinformation doesn't help anybody, it just pisses everybody off, including myself. Thank you. Heath Campbell.
You didn't turn it off on me, did you? Edward O'Brien. Okay, so this is a very good question, by the way. Considering, obviously, Tammy, she mentioned, and also Heath mentioned, the loaning of the $5+ million to the county, I think it was to itself. Accountability is huge, especially when it comes to such a lot of money. And being, we'll say, a business owner since 2017, for sure, yeah, definitely have to balance budgets. Okay, working with the commissioners to be able to figure out where we can, well, have accountability within the departments moving forward. And that's one of the things we have to do. And like I said, accountability is huge. Because if not, that's where the county gets put on state fiscal watch. And we really don't want that. So that's my stance on it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how to increase the revenue. The bottom line is this, that we have to have new revenue sources if we're going to do that. And I'm going to tell you 2 or 3 real simple ones, okay? I want to see a wild horse sanctuary. You can say, oh my goodness, a wild horse sanctuary, they take water and food. 100 animals produce $1 million worth of manure every year. $1 million. That's a new source of revenue. Okay, not to mention what other attractions they bring with them in entertainment. Those are there. And then as other sources of revenue, we're going to be changing our greenbacks all of a sudden. And we're going to create a financial center here in Pahrump. Pahrump is going to be the gateway to the north, from Las Vegas all the way to Amargosa, to Elko, and to Reno. So there's plenty of opportunity here if we only take it by the horns and make it happen. And there's other things, but I'm out of time, I think. Yeah?
You have 1 minute, sir.
Okay, well, anyway, the other one is called the Golden Eagle. And you're going to be hearing about the Golden Eagle. And that's a revenue source that is created with money. So I don't have time to explain that. And I didn't come prepared today. I didn't know that I was going to be speaking.
Your name?
Thank you.
Your name?
Lou Baker.
Yeah, Lou Baker.
There you go.
Or you can use Blue Laker, whichever you want.
Okay, we'll do that.
We do a radio program.
I just hope that the activities with the horses weren't involving manure. There.
I'm Ian Bain, and money is an interesting thing in government. I grew up very, very poor. A lot of people don't know that. One person thought I was a billionaire. I thought it was pretty funny. They pulled over at the side of the road. I'm far from it. And growing up very poor, as I have, it's affected me. I've kind of drug around the country by my parents for many, many years and struggling. So when I see people in government, I started working in politics in 1999. It's an interesting thing how they look at it sort of top down, 100 million here, 50 million there, 1 million there. And to me, the the concept of a rainy day fund, for example, is overtaxation. I mean, they're taking our money. We're the rainy day fund. If they need money, then they tax us. And if they have 20% more in the budget that they put in stash in a separate pile for no particular reason other than some insurance policy that someone made up somewhere, that's overtaxation. So the way I look at things as far as the relationship between departments is always from, I guess I would say a user standpoint, but just a citizen standpoint. There's a lot, even here, and especially the big cities, of just looking at money as something that's not tangible or not real. It just gets shuffled around from here to there, and then we end up paying for it. And that's the real hard thing, is there's really not a lot of advocacy for those of us who, especially in this kind of economy, anyone here in real estate has not had a great couple of years. I'll attest to that, I promise you that. So paying bills is hard enough, and then you see someone in government talking about extra taxation and throwing it here, and maybe they'll do this, and they have a bunch of wild ideas. But the problem is we pay for these ideas. So that's something that I would always have with me. It's always going to be with me until I've left the earth, but because of the way I was raised. But that's how I feel about government spending our money. I'm Ian Bain. Thank you.
Okay, you have another question? Okay, here's Karen.
Is there any rebuttals?
Oh, we asked for.
As long as we're talking about money, let's,
That's for rebuttals.
what?
Rebuttals, okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any rebuttals?
Oh, I forgot.
I think Gerald does.
I do. This $6 million shortfall, I don't think anybody understands what it's about. We need that money. We need that money this year to pay for safety things, communication for the sheriff's and fire department. Right now, next year it's probably going to be $7 million to pay for what they're going to pay $6 million for this time. But we have the money coming in next year. If we don't have it next year, we have it the following year. We have a lot of things happening in Nye County. Are we going to keep kicking that can down the road if that's what everybody wants to do? $6 million is not a lot of money with a budget of $200 million a year. It's not even 1%. Barely. All right, 3%. But seriously, I keep hearing about this $5.8 million. How much?
You're done.
Steve, can you sit over here where we see that damn flag?
I keep telling him, can you come over here? Can you sit over here so they can see your flag? I don't know why, he doesn't want to sit with us. Does anybody else have?
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Does anybody else have a rebuttal? No, it's a 1 minute rebuttal and a 30-second if they want to go back over.
Jerry needs to come back up.
Okay. Jerry,
You have another 30 seconds, sir.
you have another 30 seconds.
Yep.
If you want it.
Now, let me try and finish that out. It seems like a lot of money. I mean, we can talking, okay, 3%. I mean, I'm throwing this off my mind real quick. But again, it's $6 million in a budget of $200 million, but it's a worthy cause. It's well needed right now. And I mean, if people want to call, we all learned when the fiber optics went down, you couldn't use 911. How important was that? Our system is so antiquated that we need to upgrade it. We need to upgrade it right now. We need to spend the money right now and make up for it next year or the year after. But it's not going to hurt Nye County. Thank you.
Tammy, I just wanted to add that our payroll every 2 weeks is $1.2 million. And every month it's $500,000 for pensions. So start doing the math. We have a huge budget, but a very large part of it goes to payroll. Thank you.
Is there any other rebuttals? Any other rebuttals to the question? No?
Rebuttal.
Okay, we'll have more questions. We'll have more questions for you in just a second.
What I was going to say is that we have plenty of revenue available.
Okay, Louis has a rebuttal.
We have plenty of revenue available to us if we only wake up, okay? You know the roads out here with all the sagebrush and everything else? Did you know that that's a product Did you know that horses and cattle eat that? Did you know how much money there is out there and clean up the mess at the same time? Come on, wake up. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of resources. But you got to take it by the horns. And I say that with all due respect to everybody who's trying, but we need to clean up the mess that we have here.
All right, thank you, Lily. All right, anyone else? Okay, I think.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Keith. All right, great.
I think we start with Tammy,
Yes.
as long as we're talking about money. As you know, our sheriff's department basically has a revolving door for our deputies. We've become known as the training center for everywhere else. And it is because their salaries are not equal. How can you help, as a commissioner, help the sheriff's department retain our deputies?
Tammy Pittman. Well, this is going to get sticky and it's probably not going to make friends. But I've been told there are a number of people at the Sheriff's Department that are executive level and not enough of the people working in the streets. That's just poor management. And if we took and had only the number of, like, let's say, one chief, 2 people below him, maybe 3 or 4 below him, different middle management, and then cut it off, we wouldn't have, I don't know, it's a rather large number, 11 or 12 people who are making executive pay and not doing the work where we need it. So if it was redistributed as it should be, we'd have plenty of money for the people and we would be able to give them a good wage and they'd be staying here.
I just do want to make a correction on, they have cut the administration drastically, just to make a factual statement on that. Oh, no. No, we do make factual statements. Oh, no, the moderators do make factual statements. Yes, at debates you do.
Okay. Heath Campbell. I'd have to look and see if that's a fair statement that Tammy just made. Then obviously that'd be something that we'd look at. But I have to sit down with the sheriff's department and find out if that, the facts or misinformation, or if there is something we can do. I know we've talked about possibly either bonuses or something like that for the deputies to stay on, but I don't know how feasible that would be. If they would really stay, or if it would be, obviously training them is very expensive. Any other department would be happy to not have to have that cost and put them right on the streets, post-certified and whatever. So yeah, that's a sticky situation for sure. Obviously more information and being transparent with the sheriff's department and talking to Joe and finding out what we can do about that. So more information than I have right now to make a bold statement. But thank you, Heath Campbell.
Edward O'Brien. So that was a very good question, by the way. And one, I definitely talked with numerous officers over the past 5 years, 10 years. Definitely, obviously, you have a lot of officers that are leaving for other agencies. They come in, there you go. They come in, the sheriff's department trains them. What happens a year later? So many years later, some of them actually do stay. We have a lot of great officers out here. We do. Everything rises and falls on leadership. This is where accountability comes in, obviously within the BOCC and the county. Knowing where and how to allocate the funds properly. Talking with the sheriff, figuring out what resources he needs to be able to supply, and this is just public safety in general. Figuring out what resources he needs to be able to supply the sheriff's office within reason to be able to perform the duties on the streets, because that is a big thing. They are our officers. They protect us, okay, 24/7, just like the detention center, okay? And actually, this can tie into the detention center as well. So yeah, no, definitely, that's what I would say about that. Figuring out what resources he needs. Obviously, they brought in a lot of vehicles, much needed vehicles, and they are probably, because of the economy right now, yeah, you're definitely behind on the pay. That's how I'd probably answer that. That's how we've come together collectively as a BOCC and the sheriff and determine what is necessary and proceed from that point. Talk to the officers, figure out what is reasonable, and then go from there. I know that they just got done renegotiating the collective bargaining agreement, I want to say a year ago, less than that, and we had a significant change in that. I'm very proud of them for that, for sure. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
It appears that our sheriff's department trains the deputies, but the deputies don't stay. They lateral transfer to other departments, and it's mainly because of the pay.
Well, first of all, I believe people need to earn their living, okay? And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you give everybody an executive position with $120,000 or $200,000 payroll. It has to be within the confines of the budget itself. And if we have to change the people that are in the sheriff's department to lower the rate, maybe that's what we're going to have to do. Now, I hope I'm not making an enemy, and I hope the sheriff's not listening. But the bottom line is that we have to make changes in order to move ahead. So there are still many other ways that we can raise revenue. And one of those, I told you I'm a biker, okay? We're planning on doing the Iron Horse Stampede here in Pahrump. That will be an annual event that will raise millions and millions of dollars, just like Sturgis. So if you want to talk about raising revenue, you're talking to the right guy, because I've done it time after time after time. And anybody who's got any questions about that, please try to address them to me.
I mean, in vain, it's no secret that I'm very supportive of law enforcement. I've been very vocal about that. I believe that the guys need to get paid better. I believe that we need more of them. The idea of being out here in Pahrump, a lot of these people don't have backup. Sometimes we have very few cars driving around. There is a liberal ideology that is very alive and well in this county among certain people who would probably disarm these guys if they could have their way, and that's probably coming at some point. But as far as that's concerned, I would do everything in my power to fund police, fire, search and rescue. I don't know why they're running around begging for money. It makes no sense. Instead of a $10 million civic center, it can be used for all kinds of things. $10 million for law enforcement would have been a better move, and that's something I'd be advocate for. And the last thing, because I know it ties in with it, I'd never raise taxes. And I know this is kind of a natural thing people will kind of say is, well, where are you going to raise taxes? And I'm very against raising taxes. The guy who sends out those little no new taxes pledge that Bill Hochstiller's going to sign and send back today, his name is Grover Norquist. And I knew his dad, Warren Norquist. I've been in his childhood home in Western Massachusetts. I've been anti-tax for a very long time. You're not going to get new taxes for people under me. So there's ways to do it. All of that ARPA money could have been used for law enforcement. And there was a decision made not to do that. I don't know why, but that is a big mistake, in my opinion. Thank you.
Gerald Schulte. I'm campaigning on common sense. That's what my signs say. I know he stole it from me earlier. But the common sense of it is we've got several hundred cities that lost at least a quarter, if not more, of their force. And now they're trying to replenish them forces, and there are cities that can pay officers a heck of a lot more than we can pay them. So this isn't going to go away anytime soon. We do need to pay them more, But we need to get them to sign a contract. If we're gonna train them, they're gonna stay with us at least 3 years before they move on. And if they choose to leave, they're gonna pay us back when they move somewhere else. I'm not used to the applause, so but nevertheless, they're gonna leave. They're gonna go to the bigger cities. They're gonna get more pay. But we need to get them more pay. Yes, we need to figure it out. That's gonna be one of my jobs when I become commissioner. First thing is, but we gotta fix the morale problem in the sheriff's department. That's gonna change a lot of views and a lot of officers. And just a few officers that I talked to, there's very low morale in there, especially after just getting the new sheriff. That doesn't make sense. How much more time? I don't have much more time. I don't have anything else. But thank you.
No, you have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. The common sense of it is they're gonna go to the bigger cities. We all know since BLM happened and all that, and all the big cities adopted this woke ideology that they lost the officers. They weren't backed by their mayors or whatever. So now they're realizing with all the crime and everything, they need the officers, they're going back, they're paying them more money. That's where our officers are going. Any officer can go anywhere in the United States and get a job and get paid double what they get here.
Okay. Does anybody have any rebuttals?
I think from what Jerry said about the contracts, I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I think there's some legalities there that they can't do that. I don't know if it does with the union or how they're set up and everything, but I don't think they can do that. But that's maybe misinformation, but that's what I heard.
Anybody else have a rebuttal? Okay, just to be clear, if there is any comments that are made by any of the candidates at any of the debates that I do, and there is misinformation, and I have exact knowledge to the contrary, I will be correcting that information. There was, exactly, and Karen will too. There was a debate that was done recently, and there was a lot of misinformation that was given out. And I was spinning in my seat because the audience was made to believe that some of the information was true and factual. And the moderator, after I talked to him afterwards, was apologetic that he did not correct them. It is a moderator's job, after a candidate speaks, if they give misinformation, for us to correct it. I am on the Peace Officer Advisory Board. I know about what the cuts were, and I will correct it, okay? It is my job. So if there is misinformation, I like people to know. So if you guys start a sentence worth, I heard, that's fine. But we will correct it and say that there was some cuts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
This is a personal question, as long as we're on the lines of emergency services and things of that sort. Our search and rescue is not funded. They provide their own machines, all of their maintenance, all of that. That's why they do the roasted corn at the fall festival and stuff. As a commissioner, would you be in favor of maybe subsidizing search and rescue a little bit?
Absolutely. I think it's kind of silly that it's not incorporated in some other division of the fire department or law enforcement, whatever. But yes, that would be something we'd have to sit down and figure out. If they're spending on this, that, and the other, why not even subsidized, like you said? Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it, Jerry? But yeah, I didn't know that they weren't funded. I know they do a lot of different things like on their own that wasn't like sanctioned, I guess you would say.
Most people do not realize they are not funded. That's why KNYE does the
I do contribute
radio funds.
a decent
Yeah.
amount because
Yeah.
the corn isn't cheap, but I do
Yeah.
my part,
Yeah.
and I eat a lot of corn. But yeah, absolutely.
Somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
Heath Campbell.
Edward O'Brien. So I actually was invited to an event to the Elks Lodge for a Taco Fiesta, and it was one of the numerous events such as Artesian Cellar. You'll see them over at Fall Festival and other events in parks. And what an amazing, amazing group of people. Retirees, younger, I mean, you got younger generation that's going into there. And I've had people approach me in public saying, hey, what kind of different volunteer services do we have out here? And I tell them about, like, so you got the Explore program with the Sheriff's Office, you got the fire department, you can volunteer, and you also got search and rescue. And they ask me all the time, I was like, I don't personally know what search and rescue does, but I know a volunteer fireman, and I don't know the Explore police side as far as that goes. But yes, no, it's definitely, that's actually a really good question, for sure. Something to definitely consider for the future, and definitely not opposed to it. Thank you.
Would you repeat the question again?
Our search and rescue is not funded. They provide all of their equipment, all of their maintenance and everything. As a commissioner, would you consider subsidizing search and rescue?
Subsidizing? I don't like the word subsidizing, okay? The reason I don't like it is a lot of us going in the wrong directions. People are just not paying attention to what they're doing. When I say that, I'm talking, I don't want to say I'm talking about the commission, but they have a lot on their hand. They just really can't cover everything and do a great job. But we have to get more careful about what we're doing with the money that we have available. And the best way to do that is to bring in people who are specialized in that. If you go to the bank, and I want to point one thing out very quickly. You know the Golden Knights? They started as a team with about 6 players once. Look where they're at, and look at the money that has been generated. It simply tells you entertainment is the key to this. Entertainment, hotel rooms, and all of those other things that are associated with it. That's why it's so important to look at the Golden Eagle. And the Golden Eagle is a transportation system, high speed, that'll bring people in from Las Vegas to Pahrump and beyond. And the money that's generated there is tremendous.
That wasn't the question. Search and rescue is not funded. They provide all of their equipment, all of their maintenance, all of their gas, everything to help this community. As a commissioner,
Yeah.
would you consider subsidizing search and rescue?
I would consider, listen, I raised $120,000 for the shelter for the homeless in Westminster, California. I did an auction in Studio City. We raised almost $200,000. So I'm very familiar with how to raise money, but I can't make everybody join in. But you need help in getting these things done. And so I would subsidize the ones that need it, whether it happens to be the homeless or other groups and organizations that are just not properly funded. But we need to clean them up at the same time. So I think that's about as much as I can say as far as subsidies are concerned. We are being subsidized when we get $10 million or we have $10 million for a civic center. Where did that come from? We didn't have it. We got it from the federal government. There's money out there, and one of the things that creates the most money is transportation. And that's something that's on the board.
Thank you.
Ian Bain, as I said before, for me, the priorities are police, fire, search and rescue. I know they need like $50,000 for a drone. I don't know if someone can, give these guys $50,000 out of the county money. It's just, to me, it's mind-blowing. You have a county this size with all this area, and you have all these people who have the potentiality of wandering off, or children getting lost, or people just being missing. I know it happened. There was somebody who was at the dentist last year, and they wandered off, and it was tragic. So funding search and rescue is very important. Police, fire, search and rescue, find a way to do it. So that's how I feel very strongly about it.
Gerald Schulte, I'm all for funding search and rescue if that's what it's going to take to keep them. If they definitely need the money, by all means, we should find a way to get them. But most of them are volunteer anyways. And as a business owner, I would donate a certain amount every year, and I'm sure there's a lot of other business owners in that county that would do the same to keep them around. I don't know about a $50,000 drone, but I know drones don't cost $50,000. And I know some of them guys at Search and Rescue have got big egos, and they want to buy these big diesel trucks at $100,000 to run them through the mountains and all that, which is unnecessary. And quite honestly, $10,000 would probably buy a decent drone to do what they want to. And but I don't mind supporting them as long as they do what I want to do as a county commissioner and crunch the numbers. Make sure the money's spent right. Thank you.
Tammy Pittman. Yes, supporting search and rescue. Actually, my husband and I were in search and rescue when we were in 29 Palms. He was very active in it. It's a very necessary thing. I don't know how many people they've saved lives of who fell down a mine shaft, that was quite common. Hard to believe, but it was. So anyway, yes, I think they're an integral part of our society. We need them, and they do a great service. Subsidizing, I could see where we'd have to look at the numbers. If we were out of the hole, yes, I would definitely think of that. But when you're in the hole and you've tightened the belt, you don't have the money for that. But definitely is something worth considering because they do something that we really need, and we wouldn't be here without them. Thank you. Tammy Pittman.
Rebuttal?
Does anybody have a rebuttal?
There's got to be some grant funding for that. We just got to get some grant writers on that and see. There's obviously a lot of money out there for civic centers, shelters, and everything else that we're talking about. There's got to be something to save people's lives. I'm just saying.
Anyone else? All right. We have so many questions about corruption. So I was trying to combine all of them. I think I have like 7 of them from the audience. So I'm going to take the best one that I can find that kind of encompasses all of them. Is there corruption in Nye County? And if so, how will you handle that as a commissioner? And is it going to Eddie?
Yep.
Okay, Eddie.
Edward O'Brien. In order to solve a problem, you have to notice that there's a problem in the first place. And as a commissioner, or when I get elected as a commissioner, it's something that I can't prove that there's corruption until I get into office. But I will say this, is that there's a lot of decisions that are being made, and, well, going back to the money that we kind of loaned ourselves, I mean, it's something that we have to look deeply into and then figure out collectively of how to solve the problem. And if that takes having to make some hard decisions with certain departments, then for sure, yes. So that's kind of my stance on it as far as that goes. I hope I addressed that properly. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go down to Lou. which is...
Okay, we're talking about greed and corruption, okay? Greed and corruption is obviously here in the city of Pahrump. And I'm not here to listen to it, but we got a hitman over here that can tell us more about that. Anthony, you want to? No, Anthony's not going to talk. Bottom line, folks, is this. And we've had that from day one. And it goes all the way back thousands of years. Greed and corruption has always been what has killed the cities. So if we get rid of the greed and corruption, we have the revenue sources that we can bring in the proper help. If we can bring in the proper help, then that's the way we can do it. But I'm saying that I don't know that there's anybody that's willing to step up to the plate and try to find. We don't have a district attorney or something like that that's going after that. If they did, we'd find out that there's a lot of loose ends that need to be straightened out. Can they be straightened out? Yes, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Thank you.
Ian Bain, if you look at the front page of my flyers, I talk about corruption. I've had 18 of my signs spray painted or stolen or damaged. Probably has something to do with me putting Stop Corruption on the sign. You know, one of the things as far as how to handle it, the actual mechanics of doing it, I don't know if the commission has subpoena power. I don't know what powers they do have that we haven't looked at. I know there's nothing to stop some kind of like a blue ribbon committee or some kind of subcommittee that can go after corruption so that people citizens can see something, turn that in, make sure it's legal, look at it. Again, I don't know how many people are working on that, I'm guessing none, but that would be a priority for me also, is to, obviously, because it's what I'm running on, try to find some kind of a subcommittee or group that can look at complaints from citizens, and there's a lot of them, figure out which ones are credible, which ones can be looked at or talked about or discussed, because without even looking at something, you're not going to take care of it. So I think a subcommittee is very important, and a lot of it also just comes down to how you govern, how you look at the way things are done. Again, there's no secret, I do videos on YouTube, and they have thousands of views sometimes, or hundreds of views other times. And I point out a lot of things that I don't like, and some of this people disagree with me, and that's their right to do so. That's what makes this country great. But corruption, getting rid of corruption, talking about corruption, these are all things that have to happen that I would make a priority. I'm Ian Bain. Thank you.
Corruption, collusion, it exists today. Any one of us can be corrupt. We have to be careful when we vote. We have to identify the integrity, if any exists in any one of us. But we can't control corruption. It's going to happen. It's human nature. It's going to exist. We just have to catch it, identify it, and deal with it. It's not going away. We've always had it. It still exists. And I'm wise enough, through my business sense, I can identify it very easily. Collusion, I can identify that very easily. But again, corruption, it exists, it's not going to go away. We just have to catch it before it gets out of hand. Thank you.
Tammy Pittman. I think it's the appearance of corruption that is the issue, and addressing it, and if we see it, we should make sure we address it and talk about it, because I hear a lot of people say corruption under their breath, or they say there's corrupt here, corrupt there, but nobody ever says what it is. So obviously there's an issue, and it's like the pregnant pause. Nobody wants to say a word. So you can't fix something nobody will talk about. If somebody brought something that was corrupt to the board, it should be addressed. It shouldn't be buried, and it should be spoken of, and the person who makes the accusation better have documentation, because if they don't, that's really could be against them. So it's wise to do things correctly and not to just make accusations. Thank you.
Keith Campbell. Corruption, I guess, does exist, but I think we need to have proof, and if you see something, say something, type kind of thing, but you gotta have the facts. Throwing the word around a lot and blaming people for this, that, and the other, and not having specific facts about it. Transparency kind of makes it hard to hide. So we talk about different spending, this, that, and the other. Transparency's there. You're going to know exactly what's going on, and if it doesn't look right, and it's not right, then you're talking about corruption, potentially. But transparency makes it all better. And if that's what I would thrive for as commissioner, is don't have the appearance. If you don't have the appearance and you have the transparency, you can't be accused of anything. So, Heath Campbell.
Any other rebuttals?
Yeah, just real quick, Ian Bay. So we do have, just so people know, there are 3 ethics violations of 3 separate, so a former DA, a former treasurer, a former commissioner. They've been signed, and these people were found guilty of ethics violations. So I don't know why that's not seen as a corruption problem. It's a little strange. We also have a Republican Party chairman who's also been convicted and went through a hearing of ethics violations. So I don't know, it's like something like 20% of the executive elected officials in this county have been convicted or found guilty somehow or settled of ethics violations for doing things while in office. This is not something on the side or something, 100 years ago. So I don't, it's a strange thing. So yeah, first you have to admit to yourself that these things exist and read them. And again, they're right on the front page of all my, I write it down. If you want to go to ianbain.com, I can spend a couple hours listening to videos about this stuff. Thank you.
Any other rebuttals?
Yeah, we start with Eddie this time.
No.
Oh, okay, we're gonna start with you, Lou.
Okay. Is there a question, or are we having a closing statement?
Oh, closing.
He has to go to the bathroom.
It's 8 o'clock. Not just me.
Not just you. All right, I think this is our last question.
I think it's an important question.
I believe this is our last question.
Okay.
And everybody take your time.
Okay, go on.
Okay, Nye County,
Is your question?
I'm giving it to you right now. Nye County has in the past been on fiscal watch. As a commissioner, would you be opposed to maybe once a year bringing in a private audit team to go over the books?
Yes, I think it's absolutely necessary that we straighten out the books and we get an accurate accounting on each and every project, whether it happens to be the new civic center or the road that we have to come up on Basin. It looks like doesn't look like a new highway. It looks like a patched up deal. And the bottom line is that we have to be able to account that money they spent. Look at the animal shelter. They first started, it was going to be $2 million, then it went to $4 million, and then I think it went beyond that as well. So where are these people complying with the rules and regulations? The contracts should be very, very clear cut. By the way, I am a general contractor, in case you didn't know. I'm also a solar contractor. Bottom line, folks, is that you have to be able to get clean, good information so that you can make good decisions. And I think that the commissioners are trying their best, but they need help too. You know, you've got Nye County, the second largest county in the United States. We got third? Okay, well, we moved down one. All right. Bottom line is it's up there in the numbers. There's 605,000 non-partisans in this state. There's 60,000 motorcycles in this state. And if you don't think that they're not coming out this time, you're sadly mistaken.
Sir, with all due respect, can we stay on track, please? The question is about an audit.
Yeah,
Annual
well,
audit.
I guess I didn't answer it, but again,
You said yes.
I apologize, but I didn't come prepared with a blank.
Okay. Thank you, Lou. Ian?
Sorry, I just spilled the water over here.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, we have to do whatever we can to bring in outside help. I just don't trust government. I've never trusted government. That's why I do this. I used to say I have a love-hate relationship with politics, and I just have a hate relationship with politics. But I don't trust the government, so anytime you can get a private organization to come in and look at things, I'm 100% for it. So absolutely. Obviously, there's money considerations, but yes, we need to do something like that. Absolutely. Thank you.
Gerald Schulte. When I become county commissioner, I'm all for bringing an auditor, my own auditor, because I'm going to get corrupt and I'm going to get a kickback on it. No, that's not really what's going to happen. I want to make sure if we do that, what we're going to pay for this auditor. If they're going to charge us $250,000 to come through and tell us where we went wrong, and tell us we only went wrong to the tune of $250,000, we just broke even, right? So I don't want to get in, I don't know, we just need to find out how much an auditor is going to cost before we make that kind of investment. If it's worthy of an investment to find out that, yes, we wasted some money here and there, by all means, let's do it. But again, it's how much the auditor is going to cost. I've seen over the years some stupid expenses, and if anybody remembers Holly Culkin and the shit he pulled, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one really irks me. But yeah, it's just what are we going to pay for it, and what are we going to save? Thank you.
Tammy Pittman. I was appalled recently at one of the commissioners' meeting when the treasurer got up and said that the qualifications to be treasurer was a high school diploma and a driver's license. So yes, I would be very, very, very supportive of bringing in an external auditor. Thank you.
Keith Campbell, and I'm a little disappointed at the last question. What are we going to say? Absolutely, we're going to say yes. I agree with Jerry about like how much it would cost, of course, but I mean, that's transparency again. That's just something that I don't think anybody should say no to. And if they are, then maybe we're looking at corruption. Keith Campbell.
Edward O'Brien. So, I really wish that we can ask whoever wrote that question down to raise their hand, but unfortunately, I mean, that was you? That was a great, amazing question. Thank you.
Always changes his mind.
So, for sure, would love to implement that, because that just goes off of my basis of accountability. If we show the people that, and county and the world, I guess, or we'll say the United States, not county, that we're willing to hold ourselves accountable to, well, and keep us out of fiscal watch every single year, most definitely. And like Heath was saying, that of course we're going to say yes to that. Of course, we'd have to look at our annual budget and stuff and figure out the numbers of that scenario, but most definitely. Thank you.
Does anybody have a rebuttal? Anybody? I did have one more question that I want to ask, but I'm worried about Heath. And you should. I asked him if he's to go to the bathroom, and he said he already did. Because I was going to ask about the animal shelter, and I don't know if the audience still has patience for that, if you do, or if you just want to take a break really quick, or if we just are, if you guys just want to finish your 1 minute wrap up. Are you guys good? Are we want to finish our 1 minute wrap up? You guys tell me how you're feeling. 1 minute wrap up? Are you good?
We can do the animal shelter.
You're still good? You want to do the animal shelter?
Yes, I'm still good.
Okay. Okay, all right.
I didn't do it.
You do it too.
Okay, as long as he's good, then we'll do that one. Okay, because I don't want you yelling at me later.
Oh, I will.
Oh, you will? Okay. All right, who is the next, is it starting with Ian?
Ian.
Okay. All right, so what are your thoughts of the Nye County Animal Shelter and how it's currently being operated? Give your thoughts on how animal control officers are currently being dispatched.
I really don't have any information on the dispatching specificities of animal control. Obviously, looking at that is important. I probably avoided hitting a bunch of animals in the street, and it's heartbreaking when it happens, and it happens too often here, and it's really absolutely terrible. So I don't know if funding is an issue. Funding is usually an issue because money just sort of seems to go towards the wrong things. So my feeling on the animal shelter or on animal control or anything related to animals is you have to take care of your animals. We're in a place with animals. I love animals, don't have any children, I have animals, and so it's a priority for me.
Could you repeat the question, please? Gerald Shelby.
What are your thoughts of the Nye County Animal Shelter and how it's currently being operated? Give your thoughts of how animal control service officers are being currently dispatched.
You know, I know nothing about this. I personally, I love animals.
Yes.
I'll do anything for them. I cry if somebody kills a snake. I got a lot of hunters in my family. I won't even go out hunting to kill an animal. But if I understood, and if I'm a county commissioner, I'm going to learn more about the animal shelter. Right now, I don't know anything about it. I couldn't properly speak on it. That's honest truth.
In case you guys don't know what this question is referring to, it's referring to the change that happened under the sheriff's office, that the Nye County Animal Shelter and the animal control officers are no longer being dispatched through the Nye County Sheriff's Office.
Tammy Pittman, I know that it's been difficult to keep it staffed. They have recently hired a new manager, so I don't think we can really speak to this because this may all change. I do know that the sheriff was dispatching and they're no longer under the sheriff dispatch. I have not heard one way or the other whether it's successful or not. I rescue animals and my dogs are family, so obviously I've called when they've lost, I've found a turtle in my front yard, and I've called when I had a snake that got run over by a car, and I've called when I found dogs that were wandering. So they've always come and they've always done a great job. Thank you.
Keith Campbell. Yes, there's a recent change in the manager, so I think, as far as I know, she's doing a pretty good job, just taking over and learning everything. As far as the animal control, I know it went from the sheriff's department over to the county, and under the shelter manager is the one that's taking care of it. As far as I know, I'm a little closer to it than everybody up here, but so animal control was dispatched previously under the sheriff's department. Now, the sheriff's department does dispatch them if a deputy needs them, after hours or whatever. But during the day, it comes through the shelter, and then they're dispatched from there. So I think what they're focusing on right now, at least for animal control, because I know that at least previous conception of everybody was like, they're not doing anything. Well, there's certain protocols that they do have, and they can't. So when somebody's posted something, the animal control officer posts, hey, got a complaint, whatever, nobody's home, and then they leave. Whoever called in or the neighbor says, oh, they didn't do anything. All they did is leave a paper. Well, that's their protocols. They can't just come in there and bust in and save an animal's life if possible. It has to be a deputy or something like that. So there's rules and protocols that they have to follow. So, but as far as I know they're striving, and the manager is striving with the animal control officers to do a lot more education with the community. Whereas before, I think they were lacking with that because nobody knew really what they were doing, or they all knew what they weren't doing, but now they're starting to learn what they are doing or can do. So, Keith Campbell.
Edward O'Brien. So as far as I've actually doing the Pahrump news, I've pulled up on a couple scenes and heard over the scanner to where sheriff's office, in the past, I should say, in the past, where they dispatched directly from the deputies, and I would say that I think it was a great thing when they were able to do that, because they were able to get the resources necessary at that point, right, straight through dispatch. I think that was a great idea. As far as how it's working and operating right now, as far as if that works, I'm unaware of that. And as far as the animal shelter currently, the one that they just built, I mean, our animals are our family. They're a part of our family. My dad actually picked up a German Shepherd as a rescue animal. And it's something that, it's an amazing facility, and I can't comment on how it's being run right now because I don't know. So I just hope that whoever's running it is passionate about animals and running a successful animal shelter, or our Nye County animal shelter, as the people that love the animals that get the animals from them. So, but as far as the sheriff's office goes, I'd love to be able to see it. I mean, if it's working of how they're doing it right now, awesome. But it was definitely, from what I could tell, working before. But then again, I wasn't in that position, and I don't know that aspect of it. So, thank you.
You're going to have to repeat the question again, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it right.
What are your thoughts on the Nye County Animal Shelter and how it's currently being operated? Give your thoughts on how animal control service officers are currently being dispatched.
Well, I think the Nye County Animal Shelter is on the right track, okay? What I didn't like about it was the jump in price from $2 million to $4 million and then even more. And I don't like some of the rules and regulations. I personally had a dog that I had to take over to a friend's house for overnight. The dog got out with two of other dogs. The neighbor shot them. I just about lost my mind over that. So I don't appreciate some of the rules and regulations that need to be addressed. You can't have people going around and shooting dogs. The person said, well, he was threatening my chickens. Well, you killed the dogs, and they were nice dogs. So I'm for animals, obviously, with wild horses and other things. And so I want to see them well treated, just like I want to see the public well treated.
Thank you so much. Anybody have any rebuttal? All right, we're going to go for your 1-minute closing statements. I can't remember who we started with. Was it Ian last? We're going to start with Gerald with your 1-minute closing statement.
Okay. You know, I wish I could just take everybody here and create one great county commissioner that's going to sit there. Because everybody here's got great ideas. Some's got more. I think I have more. I think I'm the best man for the job. Because I deal with all facets of what's presented to the county commissioners. My business runs $7-8 million a year through it. That's a lot of money to handle. My county runs a heck of a lot more money, but I know how to budget money. I know how to look after money. I know how to properly spend money. And I know how to identify when it's being spent wrong. So, you know, if I don't get in there, I know there's going to be many times that I'm going to sponsor things before the county commissioners. And I hold no ill will against anybody. I just hope you look at me as an equal when that happens if I don't win. But I'm going to give this my best. This is the first time I ever challenged something like this in my life. And I think at 63 years old, if I can do it for a couple of terms, I think I'm going to benefit Nye County so I can happily live out the rest of my years here. Thank you very much.
Tammy Pittman, I have a background that's very unique. I have worked in the military, I have worked in small business, I have worked in non-for-profit, and I really care, and I'm doing this as I'm no other dog in the race. I'm not going to be running a business off the side of my desk, or I'm not going to be punching a clock for another employer. I am going to be doing this full time, and I'm going to be doing it as your voice. I'm not going to be doing it for my own glory. I want you to take the time to look at every candidate up here, look at their backgrounds, because don't take anything at face value. Thank you.
Heath Campbell, grew up here. I think I care about Pahrump, not that anybody else doesn't, but I think I would give it my best shot and have the transparency that everybody seems to want and need, be on the budget, and make sure that the community of Pahrump is taken care of first and foremost, and the priority should be that. Whether it's water, whether it's budgets, whether it's parks and recreation, getting people here, tourism, all that stuff should play an important part in its entirety, and to make Pahrump the best Pahrump we've got. So, thank you.
Wait, did we say our names? Just kidding. Edward O'Brien. So, I believe that we need the next younger generation of leadership to stand up, and that's obviously why I'm running. You've got a lot of great candidates up here, and obviously, okay, there's a lot of decisions. But the one thing I do want to mention is obviously thank you everybody for showing up tonight, listening to the people, listening to the candidates, and the questions. They're great questions. I've been here for a very long time, and I've seen a lot of stuff happen, and it's something that my goal is to help my county thrive and not just survive. And transparency and accountability, as I was saying, there's a lot of different issues out there, and it's something that we just have to keep Knight County running in the right direction. So, thank you.
Lou?
Yeah.
It's your closing statement, 1 minute?
I was getting ready to do my closing statement, but that's not where we're at.
Yes,
We're at
that's
the
where-
1
that's
minute
exactly where
closing
we're at.
statement.
You want it right now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right, bottom line is simple, okay? If you want revenue, I want to be your revenue agent, okay? Whether it happens to be as a commissioner or not doesn't make too much difference, okay? Does it mean that I don't want the job? I am for protecting public rights. I'm for protecting animal rights. And I've offered several suggestions with the wild horse, with the Iron Horse Stampede and the Wild Horse Sanctuary. Both of those are going to be revenue-producing agents that will surprise you, just like the Golden Knights probably surprise you. The bottom line, folks, is that you need to get people with solutions. And I suggest that they come up with a plan and they answer and tell them exactly what they have done in the past. They're going to say, hey, this is a qualified person. We need to have this person on the commission. And I don't care which one it is. All of them, we need to not promote party, but to promote the person with the most to offer. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone to give us something in return, and we can certainly do that.
Thank you.
I'm Ian Bain. You know, a lot of people don't know this about me. I think I'm the first or maybe second person not to be born on a farm in my family, going back hundreds of years. My grandpa had a southern accent, and when I came here to Pahrump, I wanted that for myself. I wanted to be in a place that had, again, the traditional values and Western culture. So growing up in many cities, as I have, and I see what happens here with a lot of the urbanization, I want to reverse that. I don't want to be a social experimentation town for liberal ideology to prop up homeless shelters or have homeless camps or all these experimental strange programs funded by distant places like Washington, D.C. And that's what I see a lot of now. So I would be a fierce advocate for stopping that. Police need to be funded, fire need to be for search and rescue. I'm a law and order person, it's very important to me. We need amenities. If we're gonna have doctors, you know, my wife's a dental hygienist, she's here in the front row, And she wasn't working until she was kind of drug in by her neighbor and said, hey, there's no dental hygienist in this town, why don't you come work for us? And so if we're gonna have other people who are professionals of all kinds that we desperately need, medical, other things, we need amenities, like a Trader Joe's or Chili's. I'm not trying to turn this into a city, but just very simple things. And so I would fight very hard for that. That's my vision, and I appreciate the consideration. I'm Ian May.
All right, we have one announcement. The toilets got backed up and they're not working, so I just want to let you know. And then also, I want to thank all the candidates today and yesterday, because I know what it takes to run as a candidate, and you guys are heroes, whether you win or lose. It takes guts to put your hat in the ring every single day that you guys do this. I know how much it takes. I know how much it wears you out. I know how much it drags you down, and sometimes it lifts you up. And I'm gonna keep dragging this out. I want to thank the Subway for the sandwiches, and I want to thank the Senior Center and Ann, and my hero right here, Karen Jackson.
Thank you, guys.
Ski Sansky, tune in to Pahrump News, Nye County News. We're gonna have a podcast really soon. Thank you so much, guys, for everything that you guys do. Vote, vote.